It's a nice Tuesday morning, and we're starting off with cools because it's expected to be a cool Tuesday. So whatever your challenge is, just go out there knowing that God is in control. Take it lightly. At the end of the day, you're not the first to encounter that challenge, and certainly there'll be a way out to surmount it. Good morning,
good morning,
Johnny.
Good morning, man. I feel so lucky to have two ladies on my side, man. If I had been Jesus, it would have been, you know.
Thieves.
No, I didn't say that.
That's what it is. It's recorded
Jesus
in the Bible.
Had disciples by his side too.
On the cross.
He had Mary and Martha.
Yeah.
So we can, you know,
you can
qualify.
Be Mary and
yes.
Martha. Yeah,
yes.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't like the name. We're an Anama and
Good morning, people of Africa, man. It's a wonderful Tuesday. Good to have you with us one more time, and we're here to delight you as usual, man. So stay with us. Stay with us. There's a lot coming your way. Chris, how are you doing?
I'm good, John.
So you're practicing
yes, the campaign is still on.
Have you gone for your...
On Friday. There's a free screening on Friday, so I'm waiting.
But I mean, you know that in medical terms, you have to check and double check.
Then
so
cross-check.
we could do the first one for you, and then... And then me and you, we can collaborate and help her.
Are you a health professional?
But I'm understanding you.
Yes, so I'll do it.
So
you
watch
it
from afar. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So many years, you'd visualize for a couple of times. So that becomes something exactly from afar. You won't go near. AJ will tell me, "Ama, you my hand is here. Use my hand." I'm like, yeah, right.
Trust you're fine, man. So news will come up shortly for you, but there's something that yesterday I spoke about, the Accra Mall, and I think that we need to be very serious and careful about some of these things. We have not had the report of the Accra Mall, what the cause of, you know, the caving in of the ceiling is, and we still have the cables around there. People are walking around there. It's not fair. But yesterday, the folks at Ablikum also got a grader to come and do something. So defiance actually helps.
But that shouldn't be the way.
That shouldn't be it, but it helps. So the people knew what to do. Had the equipment
and they're stalling.
Anyway.
So John, we'll talk a lot more about
this.
But
I know. Harriet says up next
news.
is the news. Does she know the news?
Time now for the news on Newday. My name is Grace Hamwasari. This is the news on Newday on TV3, also live on DSTV channel 279. Let's take a look at the headlines. 10 protesters arrested in the Ablekuma Deplorable Road demonstration. Ghana Union of Traders Association (GUTA) considers strike following implementation of cargo tracking notes policy. Trades Union Congress (TUC) kicks against National Cathedral project. President Akufo-Addo launches maiden oil and gas licensing round bid evaluation. And on the international front, Peru detains opposition leaders' top advisors at political rally. Let's go to our first story now. The Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, says it is going ahead with the implementation of the Cargo Tracking Note System, CTN. The Commissioner General of the GRA said effective Monday, October 15, importers whose imports exceed 36 20-footer containers per year will be required to obtain a CTN number in the country of origin.
The Cargo Tracking Note policy seeks to address undervaluation of shipment, concealment of higher-rated products, deliberate misclassification of shipment by importers, manipulation of detail of port of origin, volume and weight misrepresentation, and over-invoicing of shipment.
Effective today, 15th October 2018, importers whose imports from records exceed 36 20-foot equivalent units per year will be required to obtain a CTN number in the country of export.
According to the Ghana Revenue Authority, adequate engagement with stakeholders has been made, and that 95% of importers in the country will not be affected by the policy. It said the 5% of importers who will be affected are those who import more than 36 20-footer containers per year, accounting for about 65% of containers brought into the country.
So the 95% of the traders are not going to go through the CTN. So it means there will not be any quota, there will not be any code, they are not going to go through any restrictions. They are going to do their business as usual. What they are doing now is what they are going to do. But then the 5% would cater for 65% of the TUs or the containers. What is going to happen is that we are going to write them individually and inform them that henceforth they are coming with their container covered by CTN.
The GRA emphasized that there will be no charges for the CTN.
Government is not going to charge them any fees. So as I speak, we have not had any resistance coming from the traders. If you don't bring it, custom is not going to work on your documentations. Then, of course, demurrage will kick in and then you will suffer. And when you suffer, next time it will help you to go and bring CTN on your containers, especially those who are qualified to come out with CTN.
On the pending lawsuit, the Commissioner General indicated that he has not been served.
State here now that the petitioner never handed me, not sent me a copy. I don't know the petitioner. So that information is wrong. If he stated that he personally served me, that's untrue.
According to the GRA, $14.5 million of revenue has been realized from under declaration of goods since it started piloting the system from July.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, has described the implementation of the CTN as illegal. According to the national organizer of the association, Clement Watting, the CTN is not backed by law, emphasizing it is just a select few who are bent on implementing it for their own selfish gains. He spoke to our reporter, George Ekokwenin.
The Revenue Authority has pointed out that there have been adequate consultation with stakeholders. GUTA insists the authority has failed to address their concern.
With regards to the cost, at one point they say GRA is going to bear the cost. At another point they say the importer is going to bear the cost. You see, so they've been back and forth with the issues of the legal aspect. They've not been able to say anything about it. They have said government has rights, to do anything. But we all know that when it comes to the issues of revenue in this country, revenue collection in this country, it must be backed by law. And the only place that you have to go, for it to be assented to is the parliament. Yes. So they have not been able to, answer some of these questions that we have raised.
The association is considering a strike.
If they are talking about revenue generation, we don't have anything against it, but the issues that we have raised is what they must address. And even if they are talking about this generation, there is this revenue generation, there is already a system in place. That is the PAA, that is the pre-arrival assessment system is already in place, and they also have a manifest system in place that all goes to check these loopholes that they are talking about. So what is their beef? So we think it's just a group of people who want to, by all means, try as much as possible to implement this CTN for their own selfish benefit. And we think it is not right for Ghanaians.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has launched the maiden oil and gas licensing round bid evaluation in Accra. The licensing round is expected to allow for the open bidding and exploration of oil by both local and foreign companies.
Current Petroleum Exploration and Petroleum Act 2016, Act 919, exploration and production rights will now be awarded through an open, transparent and competitive tendering process, also known under the law as the licensing round. Minister for Energy, Peter Amewu, assured Ghanaians the ministry has repositioned the oil sector to become one of the fastest growing within the sub-region.
We have finalized a new blueprint and a roadmap for accelerating upstream activity with a view to attracting competent companies and increase our potentials of scaling up oil and gas production in the country. This is the main objective of this licensing round, which is in line with the vision of the government under the leadership of His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
President Akufo-Addo said government will use oil revenue to create assets to build the country's future human resources to promote development.
If we are to sustain and broaden the scope of our social interventions that rely on petroleum revenues, we must consciously work to increase crude oil production. With the last discovery and the last exploration well drilled in 2014, it is obvious that the pace of oil exploration has slowed considerably. Given that production is taking place at a faster rate than reserves are being added, we need to reverse this state of affairs immediately.
The move also fulfills the country's plan to increase the production of oil and gas to generate more revenue for development, while ensuring greater transparency and value for money in oil resource utilization.
Government is to secure 250 billion cedis as taxes from mobile money transfers by the end of the year. Minister for Business Development, Dr. Mohamed Awal, who made this known at the launch of Ghana Online Mall in Accra, said parts of the amounts will be used to support 1,350 trained entrepreneurs to start their businesses.
The Ghana Online Mall is expected to assist startups showcase their handmade products. It would also assist them to engage in competition with other business partners across the globe. The online platform is also geared towards boosting investor confidence among the business community. Currently, access to funds have remained a major setback affecting businesses in the country. That notwithstanding, the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan (NEP) has trained 7,000 startups, of which 1,350 of them would be provided with funds to start their businesses. Minister for Business Development, Dr. Mohamed Awal, spoke about capitalizing on funds from mobile money transfers to support startup businesses.
2017 alone, 156 billion was traded mobile money. And for 2018, we're estimating over 250 billion. The mobile interoperability that we started last year has clocked 1 million users.
Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, Ignatius Bafwewa, is confident the online mall will create adequate jobs for Ghanaians.
The online mall platform, which will be a pool of services providers, especially for our students, unemployed graduates, busy moms, artisans, and all those who can offer some form of services in the comfort of their homes.
The Ghana Online Mall is expected to complement all digital platforms spearheaded by government.
Obviously, some good news there for startups and small businesses. But moving away from that, the Trades Union Congress, TUC, has kicked against the National Cathedral project. Its Deputy Secretary General Joshua Ansah described the intended project as a misplaced priority on the part of government, following what he termed as economic challenges confronting the country. He spoke to our reporter Daniel Opoku.
The TUC was reacting to the decision by government to construct a 5,000-seater national cathedral. Last week, the President Nana Akufo-Addo defended the initiative, describing it as a national priority. But the TUC is of a different view.
We are not saying building a cathedral is a bad idea, but what we are saying is that let us do first things first. We think that the first thing is to increase employment. First is to ensure that people live happily in this very country, ensure that national health insurance works.
Though government has indicated the Christian community would have to fund the project, he doubted government's insistence that it would not allocate any public funds towards it.
We think that there's some kind of hypocrisy amongst the Christian community here. There are people who go to church who cannot even afford 3 square meals a day. There are church members who cannot eat even 1 square meal a day. But here are the pastors and the priests and the bishops and the rest who have now gotten money to contribute to this. We think that if even the money is not coming from the national purse and it's coming from individuals, those monies can be channeled through other social amenities to benefit everybody.
He warned The TUC would initiate a campaign against it to protect the public purse if government does not reconsider its decision.
So you want the president to suspend this exercise?
I should think so. That fine, it can come later on when things are normalized. Everybody is complaining about the economic hardship in this country. Everybody is complaining about social amenities in this country. So we think that first things first. If all these things are settled, then when you are building a cathedral, people will support you to do whatever cathedral you want to put up.
The TUC has since indicated plans to convene a meeting with the president on the matter.
Let's do some politics now, where former Member of Parliament for Ablekuma South, Fritz Bafo, has denied being peeved for not being appointed to serve in the Mahama-led government. The former Information Minister, who has joined the Ask Bagbin team as Campaign and Communications Director, says he will ensure Alban Bagbin wins the flag bearership race to lead the NDC in the 2020 general elections.
At a media briefing in Accra to formally announce the membership of Fritz Bafo in the Ask Bagbin campaign team, the former Ablekuma South MP expressed his determination to ensure Alban Bagbin becomes the NDC flag bearer for the 2020 elections. He said he chose the Nandoli Kalio MP because of his good deeds.
I bring on board my experience as a media consultant and a communications specialist. I believe in the values of the party, and I believe that Alban upholds all the values of the party. We are the party of the vulnerable. We are the party of the voiceless. We are the party of the man on the street.
The two-term MP had earlier announced quitting active politics, but has made a U-turn.
So it's not a question of I've rescinded my decision not to be part and parcel of active politics. I am a member of the NDC, and I'm doing the work of the NDC. Some people I know have said that I was peeved, but I was not. It's not a question of turning my back on the previous president. In a democratic dispensation, you have the right to choose, and I've chosen to work with Alban Bagbin.
He promised a campaign devoid of insults. Flag bearer hopeful Alban Bagbin was happy about Fritz Bafo's decision to join the team, describing him as matured, disciplined and focused.
And I'm happy, together with Team Bagbin, to have him join us. Because we know him and we know what he's bringing on board. There's not many people that we've accepted to work with. He's one of those who have joined the movement to create a free and just world. I've just heard the values he's espoused, and that's what we stand for, and that's what we're doing. We're trying to change the NDC to focus on these values and principles.
He said they would work at ensuring the core values of the party are achieved.
10 protesters in the Ablekuma Deplorable Road demonstration in Accra have been arrested. Irate youth from 4 adjoining communities blocked roads and burned ties to express their frustration over what they described as government insensitivity towards their plight.
Residents of Ablekuma hit the roads to protest what they described as killer roads in the area. According to them, the rainy season makes the situation worse and cuts them off from the rest of Accra.
We've been complaining several times about the poor nature of the road here from Bokoboko leading to Mahia. And in fact, we have not seen anything. We have not seen anything here. So today, we are demonstrating for the government also to know that we have a problem here. We asked permission from the police, and the police say we should hold on. This is not a demonstration. It's awareness that we are creating for them to know that we have a problem. But if it is demonstration, we will start from Bokoboko up to Mahia. And I tell you yourself, you cannot even get here.
The lawmaker is not being affected by what is happening here. Don't you think that you are rather affecting the residents of the area?
You are right. That is why we have stopped for now.
They mounted roadblocks and burned car tires to prevent drivers from plying the road, leaving passengers stranded.
Manya, Insakina, Oduma, Joma, in fact, Ablekuma Road from Ablekuma.
This road goes as far as Kaswa and Kumasi.
The road is terrible. It destroys our cars. Even pregnant women miscarry on this road.
The youth said after several years, the Ablekuma curve to a former road is yet to be reconstructed and called for a permanent solution to the problem. They rejected the reshaping, which they argued ends up worsening their plight, and served notice to continue with the protest until their problem is addressed.
Now, activities of herdsmen are pushing farmers in the Busa South district out of farming. A former member of parliament for Busa South and Minister of State at the presidency, Al-Hassan Azong, had his 50-acre maize farm raised by cattle. The member of parliament says the situation is pushing him out of his new profession. Eva Atiboka has more.
The member of parliament, after losing the Busa South seat in the 2016 election, ventured into commercial agriculture. Al-Hassan Azong is a beneficiary of the government flagship program, Planting for Food and Jobs.
They said the inputs have come, the seeds have come for farming. And that's why I had my first disappointment. Because when you plow, what should come first should be the seed. Then the second one will be the fertilizer. Then the subsequent ones.
The former MP was sure of a bumper harvest, but now telling a painful and bitter story owing to the activities of herdsmen.
The news I was getting from home was that, wow, your maize is just flowering like that, about 15 acres. Until just last week, my cousin ran and told me that the Fulani cattle have gone to raise grease on the whole farm. They normally wake up around 3 o'clock with their cattle. And when he went there, he wept.
He is not alone. Some farmers shared same sentiments. They want assembly bylaws enacted to deal with the problem. Compounding the problem is the poor state of roads linking both Busa South and North. The Chichiliga, Wiaga, Fumbisi and the Yagba roads, all linking major food producing areas and markets, have been in a poor shape for some time. These abandoned culverts pose danger to road users.
Vehicles get involved in accidents very often and people get injured. With the open culvert, we are at risk. My friend fell into it and got his mouth injured.
Let's now go on the foreign front. And Peruvian police detained 2 top advisors of jailed opposition leader Keiko Fujimori at a political demonstration on Monday, deepening a crisis at the heart of the country's most powerful conservative movement. Hundreds of people chanting Keiko is innocent marched through downtown Lima to protest against Fujimori's arrest last Wednesday, pending charges in a money laundering investigation. Ana Hes and Pierre Figari, Fujimori's top political strategists, were arrested at the demonstration, Esla Litona, a lawmaker of the party, told journalists. That's it by way of news on Newday here on TV3. My name is Grace Hamwa. Sorry, Newday is back after this break. Don't go away.
Good morning, one more time, and welcome. This is TV3 Newday. Good morning to Franklin Sowa of the Graphic Communications Group Limited and to the rest of the family. The Daily Graphic starts us off today in our quest to find out what's on the front pages. Review dormant agreements. President charges energy minister at oil bid evaluation launch. Okay, and banking reforms. Well, safest investment destination. We're asking the question. Cargo tracking notes have come to stay. GRA boss says so. And vitiligo on the prowl, but no cure. It's happening. And, well... The Ghanaian Times, at the launch, at the launch of the Ghana oil gas round, terminate dormant petroleum agreements. President orders. 24 of them have been reviewed already. Brexit won't affect Ghana-Britain relations. Cargo tracking to cover only 3,000 importers. GRA boss says so. And PIAC rejects Finance Ministry's explanation over the missing 403.7 million Ghana cedis. Well, they say the money was misapplied and that, well, we should show the projects that these monies were used for. The Daily Guide says Nana auctions oil blocks, 6 of them in contention at this time. AG accuses Woyome UT Bank of collusion and 1D1F for every district by 2020. Another promise again. Well, NDC blows $175 million hospital cash on election survey. Today newspaper. Ghana Institution of Engineers and ASCE sign MOU. Government targets Woyome $7.5 million wealth. And Minister halts funeral of Oblimpong Kojo Abebio the 5th, which is supposed to have started today. Why has it been halted? We'll find out and tell you. Mahama diverted funds into NDC re-election research. And Gawest MCE accused Killer Ablekuma Afuaman Road. Some of the residents who protested there got some help coming to them immediately. I must say it's a stopgap measure. The Daily Statement. Every district will have a factory by 2021 D1F coordinator. Akufo-Addo calls for transparency in oil block building process. And NDC chops $175 million hospital loan. Oh. Rojo Metal Nunu's photo there with ex-President Mahama's photo as well. BNFT, 200 million Ghana cedis fund for young entrepreneurs to be ready by March 2019. And UK investors eye deals worth over 500 million US pounds, I beg your pardon. And Eden Heights luxury apartments, no freeze of issuance of licenses. Bank of Ghana governor assures. That's the very last one today on our radar. I'm sure we want to go back to Ablekuma and ask the question. The situation at Ablekuma is more like the situation we saw in Takwa. Right. What the people of Madina Adenta are threatening to also engage in. But the question that comes to mind is, why must we make the people complain? People who will pay their taxes, they are roadworthy, if they are drivers, and whatever it is. Why must we make them complain before we go to fix what is supposed to be for them? Look, and I'm talking about this because you see the Lekma Road, right, the Link Road, Teshi Link Road from Lekma all the way down to the Spintex Road. We know what the situation is there. And it's not just that. We've shown a lot of those ones here. Pregnant women miscarry their babies, sometimes in the 7th month, 8th month. So painful it is. And we all watch. Yesterday, after burning the tires, we move in there with an excavator to go and smoothing the road. So the question is, if we had the money, we had the excavator, we knew what we wanted to do, why didn't we do it? Must we have taken them to burn tires before we did that? I don't get it.
Johnny, I can just imagine what, they'll be thinking right now. That if, and what this, it sets a ball rolling for me, where I'm advocating that we stop this stopgap measure, and we also stop this reactive approach of, pushing government to do something, because then really what they give you is something that won't last. Yeah. I can respect or understand why government will also move in when people agitate, because that's the best way to do. As human as we are, you can only appeal to people's emotions and people's senses. But the reason why I say I see a ball being set rolling is the fact that if I have seen, I'm in area A, and I see that people in area B did this, and it worked for them, I will emulate it, Johnny. But also the question about why government will only move in when people agitate is, the truth is our resources as it stands now and the way people are misappropriating them, we really cannot tackle everything at a go. Otherwise, the northern regions would have been developed by now. And so it is, again, where our priorities lie and where we have oftentimes failed to work appropriately, because we put members of parliament, we put people in there to speak for our constituencies. And do they do exactly this? No. And so they'll only respond when you've been reactive. Then it's like, hey, the people are awake and they're agitating, so let's calm them down. And that's where we have to stop, because when they stand on these platforms to campaign and give you all the many promises and they don't do it, this is the only reaction I see people building against them. And so let's again come back to the drawing table and find out what are the priorities. Because Johnny, I can tell you, with the way our funds are being used, we cannot do every road at once. And so it will take measures, but at least speak to the people, communicate to them, let them understand what plan you have for whatever area you're running. Because We all know, I mean, it will be a lie, or it will be foolish of us to think that at once government is going to solve all the issues in Ghana. It is not going to happen. It is going to be based on priorities. And so we need to speak, we need to engage stakeholders to understand. If I, for one, in my area, I know my roads are not made, but you tell me that, oh, give us some time. In 2019, you see us move in there and start doing something. As much upset as I'll be, I would have to wait. If 2019 you don't do anything, then I will probably jump at you.
I think that.
But until then, we can't keep doing this reactive thing.
It's not
it
good.
Won't work
and
for
you
us.
see, the danger is where people would want to emulate this. You know, EPA already would have challenges on their hands because people are burning tires. The carcinogens people are breathing. That's dangerous. But there's one thing that I've also noticed, that the road infrastructure, in building a road or constructing a road, the base is more costly, and if it damages, the road is gone. So when you come and clear the road, you put your sand, whatever it is, you come and compress it, you water it, you compress it, so you create the bed. The asphalt is about the cheapest thing you can get to lay on it, and then you leave it for it to deteriorate, and then you come back and do. Later. That's how come our contractors will have a double bill for work that is supposed to get a single bill, because they start the work January, by June there are no funds, so they leave it. People use the road, it goes back. Then you ask them to go back onto the road, and they tell you we can't use the old budget to fix it.
They don't even need to tell you.
So give us something more, and that's where the projects begin to stall. I've also seen a practice where the Roads and Highways Ministry, or even like the highways, will rather want to re-asphalt roads. Okay, there's already a thick asphalt, and then they will re-asphalt the road, and then as a measure to keep it. But the base of and I'm saying this because this is what a technical person told me. The base of the road is what is most important. Now, so if after 10 years you are not changing, you are not scraping, you're supposed to scrape off all the asphalt and re-asphalt it, but you don't. The old asphalt is there, you patch it and you lay a new one. You are rather creating a thickening or a thick asphalt over it. And that's where the problem is.
Take our engineers through schooling again.
Who says they don't know? They know.
Exactly, but also it's what government has allowed them to do and what has become the norm, the practice of the day, where it's okay to re-asphalt. After all, that's what Ghanaians want to see. When the quota has been laid and we feel, oh, the road has been done. But you see, again, it comes to priority, because how many of certain roads haven't been re-asphalted many times? And oftentimes it's roads that lead to our politicians' areas. How many times will my road be asphalted? It will be once, and then when it degrades, Jawulu. I've lived in Jawulu since I was a child, and the road has constantly been degraded. And currently, you can't even speak of it when you're moving from Bayre Junction just to about, let's say, Fiesta Royale Junction. It's just a portion of it. Let's say from the Bost area that has been re-asphalted.
The other time
I
came over Jawulu
really?
Towards. There's a boutique there, not a Wool's boutique. There's another boutique there if you're getting to the Alcid Academy area.
Right.
Okay. The road, I was so amazed how the road had deteriorated. This is a high-end area where my dad used to take us on Sunday rides, and the road, the potholes.
And it used to be a residential area, but now it's commercial. And so you see, we don't have plans when it comes to maintenance.
Look.
Because ideally, I'm sure when we go to the US or the UK, we know, or everyone knows, how many years it will take for a particular road to be remade or redone, or if they even need to do it. In Ghana, can we say the same? Certain roads will be maintained, others will not.
Certain roads won't. And look, and speaking of which, and finally on this one, the Dakuman Highway, there's a Kaneshi-Winneba Highway, Dakuman Junction. What's happening there is appalling. There's a gutter that's overflowed its boundaries and gotten onto the street. It's smelly, it's stinky, it's stagnant, and it's an eyesore on a major road like that. What it now does is destroying the main.
It's eating away.
The street is eating away. So the asphalt is gone. Now you can actually tell what's down there. And you see, this road was constructed by CP, Construction Pioneers. They invest a lot into their work. And so their projects take a long time. Now we're gradually allowing it to deteriorate. And so the drivers can't use that end. What they do is when they get to the Unibank junction, where the traffic light is, instead of coming through to come and patch in nicely onto the highway, they just meander and cross dangerously onto the highway. And everybody is watching. everybody is
waiting
watching.
For the deaths.
The other time I saw a military vehicle come all the way and do a U-turn illegal there like that. I saw an insurance company vehicle do it, and I have the tapes. I challenge anybody who says I didn't see it. I will show you the tape. And we are all watching.
Johnny, but a quick question too to the roads and highways. I've been using a particular road in La Paz, in the La Paz area, and people create their own ramps, and I'm wondering, how does that even work out? And, you know, because they don't use, yes, and Johnny, they don't calculate the distance, so immediately you land over one ramp, you are on the next, and I'm wondering, who allows these things to ferment? Can't we do anything about it? What's the road and highways doing about it? They have to look at it, but let's go
talk
out
about road accidents, the role of the pedestrians. Are you crossing at the right place? Are you misbehaving? Somebody told me that in Ghana, we don't drive. People just pick their cars, step on the pedals, and they move because they don't calculate. People just overtake. People just get into your lane.
But the pedestrians also are a big issue.
They are.
They don't understand their rights and responsibilities on the road. Everyone has a right. The driver does, so does the pedestrian.
Well, if it's raining, when it's raining, they understand the speed of time. But when it's not raining, they don't care. Eric Yaweje is a man in the Western region. He's ranting on the streets. Check him out.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to today's edition of the Daily Rant. My name is Eric Yaweje. Now, according to figures from the Motor Transport and Traffic Directorate of the Ghana Police Service, an average of 6 people die each day in road accidents. They have attributed this worrying situation to irresponsible driving on the part of both commercial and private drivers. They have also assigned other reasons to the fact that our roads are becoming increasingly unsafe. This morning on Daily Rant, we want to find out how road accidents even come about, what we can do to ensure that our roads are safe to ply on. Speed ramp.
This is sequence bebre. If you have an info that now road signs be as soon as you just said, I say, a higher ramp and Timmy into go to say at the spot and also or to car into
the mintina and I'm not say any corner or other top band.
Sir, a quan the only so a highway there, Edim.
Yagana a quan momedy, a quan yet. Ututa no start a quano. He said, I will call there about 7 to be a young about. No, so what I'm shot, no, so or serve no, we are Babakai.
Yen aquanin yet. On yen bohun, it has never been good. Orca a Itaquadi to Takwa. Very bad road. Nancy among fire a demonstration as apart from Aquano, one driver for Nankasa. Now, when you go through, and Sana, one more licenses, at Asa, and Sana cars, Lankasa will use Wakana. I mean, you will take out her, a couple of church will be a Becca, that they are what the ties say, Guasake. Say, drive on portable brake, no more braking, and I say, Bibinya, what's it bad? Obotum Poekum.
Drivers now walk with speed. What's it that the donor a wound of you want?
Baby on my qua, also when him demo or so to me echo. Baby also say a 1 year or so to me slow down. Come young as I'm to me communicate and to me you say no. I come me home for so be or to Mati Americans no ma call boko.
What tie and answer will be ya. You were police for what check them a yamano. Or the police for who so with the road no check it the yamana. What check the driver what the idea what the body into cocoa for say. And one run the mail Kaka the mama one down. And the other day, can't the I that was park my car no age or keep or local no I keep car the Bible and the year number. Jano on run the Ibe assembly. Doesn't where you police phone and telephone within your quad was stubborn. Jawana watch the Macali.
No, be a driver in there. Now see him there, ne car yet. Why don't because case quando? But if you go elsewhere, it doesn't happen. Because on him there, Osi quando da, Wabetchen, and then Yimpan Betchen wa burn ticket, and he has no excuse than to pay the money. But how him there, even though you know he's going wrong, no him there he can go through by paying just a cedi or two. Why would a driver even overspeed? Because he can afford to do it. Because what's no but he will pay his way through. Imagine somebody has to pay 50 cedis every day for the next 1 week. Even there on on to Balankwa. And also there, the Robertson, not really one with Chiasika or Otia, ni breaking out the case Kwanda. Now, if the car is not worthy enough for the road, or the case, he wouldn't do it.
Now, it been so said drivers and Angasa first, no, about mates, I be about 10 years. And Sana, a driver white show calcan. This year, I washing boys scramble. Why would see the boom boom crowd of video when you can't? No, I road.
Me Angasa person idea. Me the mate. HA. The beer to come in, I use ya. And it's a Madame Quansia, when you say, Sabe more, Emba, and I a little bit mechi. In the Mequa, I am making mechi, say, a chamango fast and found my million. And somebody could marry police for no Mujan Quansono, almost through private men's. Say private man do speed, by your hand that the pod one bar. Almost up no, or young who's all yeah, big boss and other you take him no. Just on them blend piano. Now commercial car dear, oh dear, the old walker. Yeah, by you private phone at 10 years and Okanzo. Private. Cause or to be because what a bow, no, I got to car nationally.
A police from Moon and young call a private.
No question, private, one young private from one who cry. Commercial cars and contain bill, put for video come when you call. And I can't there be woman or washing base. No, what, Master. I started driving work year 2000. I started driving work. I did meter 4 years. Asana, because I'm lances, Walance office. And you have to accident. The time year 2000, 95 deba. Na accident on course there this year. And the Ghana while what's when you in man you go school Asana. It is so driving. A people 1 week. No work is kabaya 20 minutes out. One chance driving. One for road 1 to Akaya Sam and the one who driving. About the don't what driving them,
like he's saying, Obia called driving school 2 weeks. I can book a coin for road 1 to am and license. As he's no way better than Obia ways mate by 2 years. Ways you know can the by 2 years. Definitely you get better with the thing at asa. But of course there should always be a mechanism or be check there. You may have been on the job for 2 years, but do you really know how to drive? Because driving on any hand there, I start a car, nearly move. There are signs on the road. Can you even read and understand them?
Traffic lights or on your zebra crossing, near our papa. Eboku webuna traffic lights being a sign or signboard in nature. Why you? Road signs are overcada or had a curve or had a speed ramps. Or had any no Obibakada, bring back non existent.
Can be person miss a question say. Na ye wo mpanimfo a omo ye traffic a omo ye traffic a abantu omo ka oman mu ana also o sack omo because metumi hu say aha pipe anu ha traffic light o say yen ndeba ni say wo mpanimfo ye tu omo ka omo ye traffic regulation omo hwe so na ye tu omo ka dia aban sack omo because ye hu adwuma omo ye that means can import the tu omo ka no obetun dia bo oman no oman na akoyi
na adwuma wo the police fo where no one will be jet traffic. I know the traffic was sent. No suppose for me John under the car. Why be a police to what I can for. Then pipe name you looking. Suppose for me one major under the car. At the business wa. The business wa.
Of course, pipe and traffic light working. Maybe in your home. Then you brought one. Or you don't say probably because driver is alcohol. America system wants them. If the system really worked, then anchor driver now is the boom now obunu to form no. You'd have been held, responsible to pay for the damages now, of course. But Obian for anchor really does it even make sense that Ejiska ayekwan for area. They say I wouldn't mark it, and you know very well that about road safety on the car markings are very important. They bet you they've been in lane and in Ghana, Sanka Impony double dual carriage roads all over. And problem. Young kwanya one way, and then you won't mark it. Into namona say adasa like traffic lights on the NCC or Kwandri. Into 9 the name.
Young share passengers. He been so passenger be for color. Me pentam.
Me momedia. Me mao passenger. Oh my shamus because me car no I me office. They okay in a crack. I been free Accra. I be do anima. Ya for car 6 o'clock. Hetama daban dia be do
from our passenger. From our driver, from our policeman, from our DVLA, from our road safety officer, I here abadeni ma a road accident none on Brad.
Eric, Messina Cordubio, that if we will make our systems work, then we would have no problems what can the driver person be so open terminaze? Imagine our roads were properly labeled that about 50 kilometers per hour per. Echo beyond that, you pay tax. Do you think that no matter what any passenger is saying, he will go beyond that? Uncle,
yeah, driver for no. Say, a boy yet to car na pa. Near Koto say, Police Fugu Kwansha, no why Yakumetu. Sense say, a boy on the land say, well, ne carpets a being yejuma. A be a triangle, a bin done came. Road, fire smusher, a bin done came. One triangle, a bin done came. When you say na betumi edi embrana so pepepa anka me de anka pen say police fuja ho a yenya DVL for ho yenya road safety for e wo ho because almost nanim da me triangle na won kan because say bibia say the me brother king say bibia ye pepepa anka feel say azet ni aden de anka so bete na bibia ye pepe da ba for say ya tama me ko highway ya na ma now I'm on go ubisa na don't say ofom police no ho a ni police bo ho na je say wa tobo na no no one just also tiasa cause so wa so use common sense na odi wejuma no
whatever kan accident is in that me drivers be kan na ya kwan so kan pa hwe baby e trace sia da me white or the car kon fifino opapa me wo ye no be 7 months silence had no way we di ato da ma da me ya man kitin nya kan our driving sasa wo twekwana wo ye da me adin ya ho je da ma na papa la oni da wo zimbi na wo che wo hwe na wo ye na yan traffic light no me simple fu gana mpalfu pa da ma nsama yuguri ye kan ya wo yan fon kwa adwinum na chi ye traffic light na wa hye no momado won ye mahan na police so wona adwuma no untum kofum kakra ije say Ghana for ai binu ye kada police fo wo Ghana men no usa oduma no ayi dem bi instead e bit traffic light asem ye kan eduna pa police fo ho edu abe wo gina na traffic ye aduma na wo ye aduma fo fra akobu na ye police fo emayim.
From the discussion, it shows clearly that Ghana has a long way to go in ensuring that our roads are safe to ply on, from the road safety officials, from the policeman, from the passengers, from the drivers. We all must play our quota in ensuring that anytime we get on the road, it is safe.
And thank you very much. Joy comes in the morning, certainly it's morning, and we're going all the way till 9 a.m. If you haven't started your day yet, you know that, well, we're giving you the right doses of breakfast to be able to start. But Daily Guide this morning reports that Nana auctions oil blocks. AG accuses Woyomi UT Bank of collusion, and 1D1F for every district by 2020. NDC blows $175 million hospital cash on election survey. The Ghanaian Times says at the launch of the Ghana oil gas round, terminate dormant petroleum agreements, President orders. Brexit won't affect Ghana-Britain relations. Cargo tracking to cover only 3,000 importers, according to the GRA, and 403.7 million Ghana cedis missing cash. PIAC rejects finance minister's explanation. TUC, National Cathedral, is not a priority. That's what they're telling the president. The president says it's a priority among priorities. Daily Graphic, banking reforms will make Ghana's safest investment destination. Cargo tracking notes have come to stay, GRA boss declares, and review dormant agreements. President charges Energy Ministry at oil bid evaluation launch. The Finder newspaper for this morning says, no misuse of oil money, President declares and promises transparency to benefit majority of Ghanaians. Government to hook 10,000 businesses onto Ghana Oil Mall and Ghana Online Mall, and 35% of imports exempted from CTN. Majority of Ghanaians in favor of free SHS, according to a poll. Behalf of the NDC, Honorable Alasan Suhini is joining us here. Chief, good morning. Alaji, Assalam.
Thank you very much. Alaikum salam.
And how's the Tuesday morning so far for you?
Alhamdulillah, it's been terrific. We give God the glory for being counted among the living today.
Yesterday, we had a roundtable conversation, the bid to auction 6 of our oil blocks. you observed the conversation as it went ahead. This is the initial one, but what does it say to you?
Well, I think that as a country, we keep improving in the way that we manage our oil resource transparently. If you recall how you know, it all started when we first discovered oil, and the concerns that were raised initially over some of the contracts that were awarded to the companies that, you know, led the way, and the explanations that were given that we were not attractive yet. And so some of those, if you like, concessions that we made to those companies were based on our state at the time and the need to attract those global giants into the industry. I mean, fast forward, we have come to a stage where we all think that, look, there's a need for us to be more transparent. We have had a number of laws that have been passed to govern the petroleum sector, and even the, if you like, the whole, you know, oil sector distribution, even what do you call it, mining of it, and all of that. There are several laws governing, and how to even utilize funds that come from it. And so this may be seen as one of those, you know, moves to further make the whole arrangement in the industry more transparent. But it is also important that we do not lose sight of the fact that some industry players are not even comfortable with the manner in which the government has gone about this, especially by the revelation of the people or the panel that will be in charge of this. Some are of the view that, look, it is going to only lead to some more attempts to bribe and corrupt some of the people who are supposed to handle some of these projects. And they liken it to the expectations we had when we passed the procurement bill, and thought that with that kind of arrangement, it was going to be difficult for people to still engage in bribery and corruption and, you know, circumvention of the procedures. But we all know that it hasn't really prevented the circumvention of the procedures. So we need to take on board some of these criticisms, even as we attempt to make the whole oil industry more transparent.
Are these criticisms genuine? Because the president says, look, this will create jobs, it will create an avenue for more transparency, and it will improve the way things are done in the oil sector. Already people have started pointing fingers and say, look, this may be another ploy to enrich certain individuals and people who are connected to them. Between the two issues, what's the middle ground that will help Ghana in the final analysis?
I'm saying that perhaps the intention behind this public, you know, auctioning of oil blocks is to make it transparent. But the reality on the ground, as we have witnessed in practices involving contracts and the award of same, gives, you know, credence to the criticisms that it could also be an avenue for, you know, awarding some of these contracts to favorites, and maybe other businessmen corrupting the people who are even involved in this whole
Is it not too early
arrangement
to be making such assumptions?
It is rather very good for us to know what can go wrong, even as we attempt to make it transparent, so that the people who are tasked to make sure they do the right things know that some will be watching them with very suspicious eyes, and so they will have to live above board and you know, perform perhaps even beyond expectation. Because if people watch them with those, if you like, suspicious eyes, it's going to let them watch their step and try to prove that indeed they mean well and intend to actually carry out their mandate to the best of their ability, to also meet the intention behind the setup of
you spoke about the laws, and of course you are in Parliament, the laws and the regulations that have been set up. But do you see a roadmap, a blueprint, if you will, since we started, you know, on, we have had PIAC being on the toes of those who manage oil resources. But do you see a blueprint, a roadmap? Do you see it happening?
Well, the question is not too clear.
Well, my question is that the president says we are auctioning this to make it more transparent, to create more jobs, to make sure that more of our people are getting there. PIAC has been asking questions about where did you keep this money? For example, they're saying the Ministry of Finance failed to justify some 403 million in excess of that, how it has been spent, and they rejected the explanation given. I'm asking, what is the blueprint? Do you see a blueprint that, look, this is how much we have, this is what we want to get from it, this is what we want to use it for? Is that clear? Because if we auction and we'll still come back to the same old issues, then there's no point.
I mean, that is why I said that some of the concerns that have been raised by industry players and especially civil society organizations in relation to how workable this particular public auctioning of oil blocks will be, you have to weigh that against the practice.
Okay.
I mean, if you say it is too early for them to raise those concerns, it is because perhaps we know what have been happening in our industry and even our transactions in general. And that is why perhaps it is important, again, that you have raised the issue of PIAC having problems with the Ministry of Finance in relation to the unused ABFA funds for 2017. And it is because, I mean, that should tell you that the laws themselves and the infrastructure, the architecture themselves that we put up do not still prevent the abuse of the system. So we have had laws, including the Petroleum Management Act and other such laws. And we have had situations where the people who are supposed to live by them have not done so, at least, you know, to meet the demands of the law. And that is the problem that PIAC currently have with the Ministry of Finance. And you are talking about 403 million Ghana cedis that PIAC
the explanation the ministry gave, PIAC has shut this down and said, look, enumerate these projects that you say we use this money for, and not just tell us that we use it for.
I mean, the concern of PIAC is that this 403 million was not spent. And so they want to know what happened to it. Now, the Ministry of Finance is suggesting that they paid it into the what do you call it? The accounts that never get full.
Okay.
The bottomless pit, the consolidated fund. And PIAC is saying that no. I mean, to just say that you moved it into, say, the consolidated, the single treasury fund, does not give us the accountability that we expect from people who are managing the oil resources. We have the Petroleum Holding Fund and all of that. Why didn't you even put it in that fund? So that at least we know that the 403 million is still there and it will be used for project A, B, C, D. But if you just come out and say you have put it into the single treasury account, it means that it is likely going to be used to finance or fund projects that we will not be able to account for as being projects funded by the oil money. Or it can also be that the funds have actually not even been transferred into the consolidated fund, and it has ended up, you know, in some, you know, packets or some projects that cannot be accounted for. So the point is that the law is there. But the practice sometimes
on the ground
don't match up with what the law expects. And that is why, again, it is important to agree with the critics that setting up an architecture to ensure that oil blocks are transparently distributed is not the end of the matter. It is the practice that will actually, you know, because in the past, we haven't had any evidence of people, you know, getting oil blocks when they don't deserve it. What people have said is that because the process wasn't that transparent, as perhaps they are trying to do now, all kinds of imaginations and, you know, suspicions have come up. But there is really no evidence of anybody getting an oil block when the person did not deserve an oil block. But if we want to make it more transparent, and the intention is to ensure that those suspicions that we have held in the past are, eliminated, the architecture itself will not give us that. It is the practice. It is the practice that will guarantee or assure us that indeed the transparency that is sought has actually, been gotten.
Absolutely, and this is TV3 Newday, where in the paper review segment or in the news review segment, we're having a conversation yesterday about the intention to auction 6 of our oil blocks and yesterday the conversation has kick-started. I don't know what your thoughts and comments are, but you can always join us on Twitter at News on TV3 or TV3 Ghana and share your thoughts and comments with us. Hashtag is TV3 Newday. We're being joined by the Honourable Hussein Issa. He's the MP for Kakwe North. Chief, good morning and thank you for your time.
Good morning.
We're just having a conversation with Alhaji about the activity that happened yesterday, the intention to auction 6 of our oil blocks. The conversations thus far says that, look, this may not be the end of our challenges in terms of transparency, as the president suggests, or creation of jobs, if you will, because PIAC has been questioning how some $403 million have been spent, and yet they can't see where the money went. They've been asking questions. Is this the solution to our challenges?
Yeah, good morning to you and good morning to Honorable
Good morning.
Welcome. Also, a good morning to my constituents in Kakwe North. I think what happened yesterday, it's a step in the right direction. We have been trying to improve upon this sector since we actually started this around 2008, 2009. Every year we need to make strides, and we need to improve upon happenings within the petroleum sector. What happened yesterday was a giant and a significant move. We all know that in the past the issuing of those blocks have not been as transparent as happened yesterday.
So he says
it was possible.
So he says that has been transparent. And everybody who deserved to get a block had it.
Today we are talking about it. It's news. It's big news today in Ghana. I don't know whether hitherto we had opportunity to do this. Even for the Ghanaians having to know that processes like this are in place to ensure that we go through a bidding process. So those who actually deserve and who have the expertise and the capacity to develop these blocks are actually allotted these blocks. The data will show you. I don't know whether you have gone there. Between 2013 and 2016, about 13 oil blocks were issued out, which have not been developed. If the people who were allotted these blocks had the expertise, capacity, everything to develop these blocks, I am sure we probably would have moved away from the 100,000 or so barrels per day production level to our target in the near future. By 2020, our target is to be doing about $1 million barrels per day. I'm sure if these 13 blocks had been developed between 2013 and 2016, there would have been some addition to our oil production. What happened yesterday, yes, it's supported by a legal framework that had come through Parliament. I think it's Act 919 or something like that. I think it's in the right direction. We should actually pat ourselves on the back and keep moving in that direction.
Will this change
about PIAC,
anything?
PIAC has been speaking, and for me, it's even good that we have a body like PIAC to oversee activities within the sector. I mean, for PIAC to be able to come out and say a certain amount that was due to be put in our annual budget funding it could not be traced. It means that PIAC is also doing something. They are looking at audits and they are looking at the flow of revenues from the sector. It's a good thing. But then also, I'm sure the ministry is also come to respond about those $403 million.
They have shut down the ministry's response. They say the ministry has a laid-back attitude towards this because they have not been satisfied with the response so far.
PIAC itself is had challenges over the years. PIAC itself, right? It's had challenges. Not until recently. Even office accommodation was a huge issue. We are moving away from it. For me, it's good that PIAC is come out with its findings, and the ministry is also reacting to whatever PIAC came to say. And for me, it's even good that there's a discourse in that sphere. Else, without PIAC, things could have been happening on our blind side. It is good that we have a body like PIAC. We need to resource a body like PIAC. We need to ensure that whatever findings PIAC comes out with. And for us in Parliament, and PIAC gives us semi-annual reports or annual reports like that, that we have to go through, we have to peruse it, whoever is found falling short of the act or any laws could be actually brought to Parliament. So I think that PIAC has avenues to explore to ensure that this 403 million that they are alleging is found, or wherever this money went to, the ministry is able to tell Ghanaians
they're quoting
or whatever for this
Section 48(2)(b) of the Petroleum Management Act. It's saying that, look, they took a road trip to find out, to inspect projects that are supposed to have been done with oil revenue, and they couldn't point at some of these things, which is why they're asking the question.
This findings has been repetitive in the PIAC reports over the years.
But if that's what they keep finding, that's what they
so
report.
that is why I even mentioned that PIAC should be resourced properly.
Okay.
Human capital, whatever PIAC needs, they need to be resourced properly. And most of the times when they come out with these findings, either the ministry or GNPC or some organization comes to rebut it. And I think that for me, as a legislator, I think that it's good that at least all of this comes into the public purview for us to discuss. And we have to move on from there. I mean, when people are found culpable, I think they have to be held responsible for
the ultimate question now on the minds of my view, I'm sure, is that, look, 10 years or after 10 years or within 10 years of discovering oil, are we getting the best from it? And will this auctioning of 6 new oil blocks change anything at all?
I think that it's a positive move, very positive. In the earlier deals, you could say whatever, but it wasn't
whatever
as
like
open.
what?
Whatever like, yeah. If I have a friend or somebody has a friend somewhere and things are, look, if I allot this block to this person and they are able to, maybe I have, people could collude to do a lot of things.
The same questions are being raised now. The same concerns are being raised now.
But at least for now, it is a very open and transparent process. We know who puts in the bids. We know what was contained in their bids. We know who they are. We know what their history or their capacity or their expertise is. And so when allotted these blocks, we stand a better chance of it being developed than the blocks that have been speaking to.
So it says, look, we passed the procurement laws. We have a whole procurement ministry, whole procurement regime, and yet we're doing things as if they don't exist.
On the other side, without the law, what would have been happening?
You tell me.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know whether we'll be worse off or better off. I wouldn't know. But it's good that at least the law is there. Today, people are talking, yes, in the SWAL regime, people were accused of having done wrong and all that. The laws are there. Let's hold them accountable for whatever they're supposed to have done. So it is good that we have a framework that governs all of this, rather than us not having anything else.
So when you take a final bite on this, let me ask you the same question. Are we getting enough from our oil 10 years down the line? Are we happy? And will this change anything?
Well, I was one of the people who cautioned somewhere in 2007, 2008, when we discovered oil, that the hula baloo or the razzmatazz, whatever you want to call it, that was associated with the discovery was raising expectations to unreasonable levels, and there was a need for those expectations to be managed moving forward, because it was as if with the discovery of oil, all our problems were all of a sudden going to be resolved, when even the quantities that were projected could not match half or a quarter of what Nigeria was doing. So I wasn't too excited with the celebrations and the parties and the champagnes that people were popping at the castle in those days to mark this, because I thought that it raised unreasonable expectations. And it is based on those expectations today that people will wonder if we have gotten anything at all from the oil discovery. Right. But if we had managed the expectations, perhaps people would have understood our true capacity and the true benefits that will come from the oil. And perhaps they would have appreciated how far we have come. Again, the oil discovery seemed to have affected the way we manage our economy, in my view. Because today, if you take out the contribution of oil, to the gross domestic product, you are left with virtually nothing.
The Dutch disease?
You are left with virtually nothing. And this was what we spoke about, the Dutch disease, that many, many workshops were held. People cautioned government to be careful that the management of the economy is not left, with just how much oil we are getting. Today, our economy is the way it is because of just oil. I mean, the international oil market, the prices are going up. And our government is making a huge windfall, because in the budget, the projection was about $52.
Okay.
Today, it is hovering around $80 plus. And so government is making a huge windfall, as a result of the exploitation of this product. So, but again, it leaves you with the other sectors that we could have been managing better, like industry, like agriculture, like the local production, how we could have even supported those areas better to also be contributing to the GDP.
Okay.
But because oil is there, it's become a lazy, even revenue mobilization has become a problem for government. And you find out that the revenue mobilization government keep missing their targets, because somehow the oil,
CTN,
the oil is there to save us at the end of the day.
They're all avenues of mobilization.
I don't know about the
30
windfall. I don't know about the windfall that government is making, because look, we are a net importer of oil.
Okay.
Today prices are hovering in the mid 80 plus. Last week was about 82.
The USD.
It's about USD per barrel. That's where we are. I don't know the windfalls that we are making, but you see, in all those razzmatazz that was done when we discovered oil, I think we duly needed to celebrate, because it wasn't the first time. I mean, right from the Second Republic, we've had examples where people had taken palm oil to Parliament and say, well, this is what has been discovered, and not the crude oil as was said. And we could have done much better than where we are today. But I don't think that the effect of the Dutch disease is being felt like that.
Okay.
Cocoa is not being left there. Cocoa is coming up again. We are very soon we are going to go back to the regime where we're hitting 1 million plus tons per year. So I don't think that other sectors is being. But oil has been there to also support some very, very good projects, and I think that we've not done too badly. We could have done much better than we.
Jack says, show us where the projects are. Daily Guide, page 9 says 1 D1F for every district by 2020. The national coordinator of the One District, One Factory initiative, Gifty Ohini Konedo, has assured Ghanaians that every district will have its own factory by the end of 2020. She disclosed that some districts would have factories that others depending on the raw materials or potentials in the areas. She indicated that the new Nsawam and Rwejiri district would get 3 different factories, adding that funding has been made available. Sohini, this will not be the first time we're hearing about
you seem to be
such a promise. And I'm asking this because the unemployment rate, look, 7 banks have gone down. We saw 84,000 people queue up for immigration service jobs. Only 500 of them got the jobs. And every now and then you hear people call you and say, Charlie, I need a job. Charlie, find me a job. The Galamsey fight, at the advent of it, we're told that we'll have 1 district, 1 factory to patch in for those who lose their jobs in that domain. Now it's been 2 years and the promises keep coming up. Sohini, this promise is good as the previous ones, aren't they?
Yeah. It is, just as the previous
It's a
ones.
good promise that the funds have been...
It's as good as the previous ones.
No, the funds have been... Don't put a pun on what I said, please. The funds have been made available, the raw materials and everything. So by 2020, we'll have the factories up and running. This is good news.
Johnny, why are you running away from your own words?
Don't put a pun on what I said.
It's as good as the previous
Don't put
promises.
a pun on what I said.
You know, I think former President Mahama put it right. You can win an election with propaganda, but the reality of the people will expose you. I mean, you just talked about the unemployment situation. I read this dawn that even the distilleries are going to lay off more workers. After laying 1,005, they are thinking of laying 1,200 again. The price of even booze has gone up. So, I mean, the luxury for those who booze to drown their sorrows of unemployment has been made expensive. Has been made expensive. Look, secondary education.
Allow him to
secondary education is in crisis. Whether you like it or not, our secondary education is in crisis. And the pictures, the videos, the reality and the feelings of the students who are subjected to this so-called free SHS is evident for all to see.
Say those are isolated cases. It's not the complete.
The financial sector is in crisis. The financial sector is in crisis. It's not just the banks. It's not even those that have collapsed. It is even with the financial institutions that are in existence. They are in crisis. I mean, the fight against corruption, we know today, has actually been whittled away. Platitudes and nothing else. And Manasseh Azure puts it better. If you continue talking about how you fight corruption without really doing anything, then you are disappointing the civil society organizations that had a lot of confidence in you and perhaps even worked somehow to help you gain political power. It's everywhere, yet our president assures us that we are not in a crisis, but everywhere you look, you see the crisis staring you in the face.
You sound doubtful.
You see, what brought about all this is the latest promise on 1D1F. Just last week, Johnny, just last week, the Minister of Information had a press conference. And what did he say? Just last week, that they did not promise to construct a factory in every district. He said that.
This story says 254 districts in the country will have factories, and that the government is passionate about the program to ensure its implementation.
I'm telling you that the Minister of Information had a press conference on 1D1F.
But this is the coordinator of the project.
So that is the confusion. But again, the President of the Republic last year told us that by the end of the year, we're going to have about 50 of those factories up and running. The Minister of Trade was invited to Parliament to tell us the state of the 1D1F, and he told us that it was left to the private sector to determine when the first factory will be commissioned. It's in the Parliament's Hansard. So, you see, once you start with a lie, you are going to need several lies to cover the first lie. And that is what the government is faced with.
Gifty says, for politicians who are always criticizing the initiative, you must rather offer suggestions to help it grow than to keep saying it is not happening.
All the suggestions that could have been offered were offered before the elections, and they kicked against all of that. The suggestions that were offered then was that, look, this is unreasonable because it's not every district that can support a factory. So what we are already doing as a country is, first of all, revamping old factories, like the Kumasi Shoe Factory and others, and starting new ones like the Commander and others. So, if it is about establishing factories to create jobs, this is the way to do it. And they said, no, 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 no. You remember that wheel? That they have already identified every district and the factory it can support.
Was it in doubt? The one about your constituency?
And that they had money. And that all the government needed to do was to spend in the right places. And that there was money to fund it. And that they were going to reduce contract sums, however they were going to do that, because they thought the contracts at the time were inflated, and use the balance to fund these projects. Today, the stories keep changing. Private sector is in charge. It's the private sector that will tell you when the first factory will be commissioned and be up and running. Oh, we have accredited some, whatever accreditation.
But we keep getting banks putting in money to say we have allocated X amount for people who have initiatives, who have been passed by the office that is running the One District One Factory, to come and source for funds from us. That's good news, isn't it?
We have been hearing that. And what has come of it is that good news. I mean, what is the import of good news if it does not translate to a better life to the ordinary Ghanaian? And you see, again, this was tied to the unavailability of jobs, which we all admit is a serious challenge in this country. And no government, not President Mohammed's government, he didn't import unemployment. He also inherited it just like other governments. But he was doing his best to deal with it, because you see, when we talked about infrastructure that he was, investing in, even the construction of a hospital, just one hospital, steel benders, cement sellers, security, look, from the scratch till the end of the hospital, where you have nurses, doctors, physicians, all of them get jobs. But he was doing his bit. Now they told us that the best way to deal with the unemployment was this 1D1F.
There's NAPCO.
Today,
there's NAPCO.
No, we don't even introduce that laughable program that we are told they are passing out people and we don't know what they train them in. How do you pass out people when you haven't trained them in anything?
Okay.
But that's just I want to end on the 1D1F.
Okay.
The unemployment that it was supposed to be dealt with. I've heard them say in some cases that, some factories, they have commissioned, the president have even gone to some factories. And we have challenged that these are existing, companies.
Econfi is different.
The companies, Econfi is not up and running. Econfi is still on the ground. Nothing is happening at Econfi.
Okay, thank you. Fusaini, take a bite on this one.
I didn't even end on what I wanted to end, I'll just...
You've had like 2 hours.
No, because when I want to end on that note, he interjected.
But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Fusaini, so this is the latest promise. Should we take it serious?
I think that we have been very consistent on this policy of 1D1F. What the Minister of Information designate sought to say was what we formally had within our manifesto for the last elections, and you can go back to it on page 23. We actually said that we were going to get the private sector to lead this policy, and that's exactly what is turning out to be. Most of this sector, I mean, we have moved away. We saw in our First Republic when government sought to own everything and do everything, and that is not where we want to go. That is not the idea of this 1D1.
How many promises more before we see tangibles?
These are not promises. These are just energizing what we have said in the past.
Okay.
Energizing what we have said in the past.
And I'm saying that this was said before 2016 election.
That's
the
right.
Elections have come and gone. We are almost 2 years
down
the
lane.
Almost
2 years.
How many more assurances? Hold on for my question. How many more assurances before we actually see a factory? It is
not just assurances. When the minister spoke, You mentioned the figure 17 currently undergoing construction. By year end, we have about another 50 in addition. By year end is 2 months away. And so we'll have around 70 going. Look, citing a factory.
John Kumar Sachi and told me 100
citing a factory.
Wait,
I'm sticking to what the minister said.
Okay.
What?
Really? You are sticking to what the minister said.
Oh,
so you need allow him. Sorry, you have the floor. So you need allow him. You have the floor.
What
so we're going with the minister's figure, 50.
Oh, you see, not to say or discount or put some cold water on what John Kumar said. John Kumar has a different program, National Employment, NEIP. Right. So he's running a different concept.
But he spoke about factories.
Of course, it could also be factories.
Okay.
It could also be factories.
Okay.
What the minister said was that by year end we're going to have about 70 of this. At various stages. Okay. Look, we have studied and we know the theory on locating of industries and all that. Look, every area, I believe, every district within of the 264 districts in this country have some comparative advantage in one factor of production or the other. Either labor or land or whatever you may think of, or capital, whatever you may think of. And we are saying that this is the policy government wants to pursue. Look, until we have such a policy up and running, we are going to have difficulty in growing our economy and supporting our currency and all that. Because look, our economy is fundamentally it's us exporting raw materials.
These things are not
until we start adding value. This is the way by which we can move away from that.
The people in Okaikwe North,
yes,
come to you asking for money. Sometimes asking you to lead them to where they can find jobs. The factories, when they're up and running, will provide jobs for these people.
Exactly.
When are we getting the first factory up and say running? If it's producing chalewote or bucket or popcorn, whatever it is.
I'm sure that we all heard what the minister said. That 17 at various stages. And pretty soon, I can't say and give you a timeline as next week or so. By year end, we'll have about 70 at various stages. Look, the issue of getting a factory running, we are not going to do like we had with the sugar factory at Commander, where you build a factory before you go look for raw materials or you go look for working capital. No, that is not what we want. A value chain that actually runs through. And that is, we are going to ensure that this 70, by the time they are up and running, we are not going to be telling stories. So within 2 years or within less than 2 years, for us to be able from nowhere to start up and get 70 running, I think that the policy we are on the right track, and it won't be too long. We will have to start harvesting the benefits of this policy.
In the meantime, what should the unemployed do? The young people who are unemployed, who are looking for jobs, who are hoping that the factories will be running. In the meantime, before the factories are up and running, what should they do?
What should they do? That's a very difficult question for me.
Look,
unemployment it didn't start in 2017 or 2018. Most of those people, they come to you and they've been home 4 or 5 years. In fact, yesterday in the night, at around 9 p.m., I was walking around Akwetema Zongo. I came across some young men sitting, and we started chatting about some of this. Some of them 5 years after SS, they're still sitting at home. Some of them 6 years after SS. I'm sure that if previous governments have taken on policies like this and have made attempts at solving these problems, I'm sure most of them would have been absorbed by now. We wouldn't have this backlog to deal with. Thankfully, we are bringing the policy to engage these young people. Tomorrow, we are launching the NAPCO policy, and almost 100,000 young people. Oh, that is his choice. But we believe that we are engaging them in productive sectors of our economy. Is it revenue Ghana that is laughable, or health Ghana that is laughable? These are models that will come support these sectors that actually need these people. Are we to educate Ghana? Is it a laughable one, or civic Ghana? Is that a model that is laughable? They can continue to laugh about it.
So what did you
we are finding more productive ways.
What was the training?
They have different models. And depending on your models, I am sure you would have been exposed to what you have to do. Either helping to grow domestic revenue or helping to in the education sector or whatever you are, you would have been exposed as to what you are expected to do under the scheme. And that is what we are launching tomorrow. Tomorrow we are passing out almost 100,000 people. And it is also, it wouldn't solve totally
so by
our
2020 we'll have the
situation.
factories running. That's what you're saying.
Not 2020. I'm saying by year end.
By
we have
end.
some of them up and running.
Should I take you by your word?
You can reach me every time. Next time I'm here, I'm sure I have some very positive news to report on.
Very much. So, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Are we already?
Yeah, we're ending.
Seriously.
That's our closing bell.
You gave all the time to
but you came late. You came late.
Just a couple of minutes. You see, Alaji.
Thank you very much, Alaji. I'm really grateful. The factories will come in 2020. By close of year, you have some running. So, Bojidi.
Well, like I said, if you start with a lie, you have to tell several other lies.
What is a lie about
the first lie?
We have been consistent. What the president has said, what the minister
said, what the conductor.
Sohini is the member of parliament for Tamale North, and also the Honourable Hussein Issa is the member of parliament for Okankwe North. There are two norths here. Thank you very much for your time. After the break, we'll chat with an NDC women organizer aspirant who hopes to lead the women folk of the NDC. What are her aspirations? What are her visions? What is her mission? And does she stand a chance of winning? After the break, we'll have a conversation. Welcome back. I told you about a national women organizer hopeful of the National Democratic Congress, Hajia Zainab Joyce Mahama is her name. She's joined me. Hajia, salam.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
I like that one. It's complete.
Thank you.
It's complete. Hajia, the campaigns have started and we're getting on to the main election. So far, how has it treated you?
Good morning to our cherished listeners. Good morning to NDC, my national chairman. The campaign is difficult, it's hot. It's not easy. By going around the whole country, running around canvassing for votes.
Okay.
And looking at things, and know by his grace, inshallah, Almighty God will see us through.
The electorates, what have been their reaction towards you when you go to want to talk to them, you knock their doors?
Yeah, Hajia Zainab has been a woman leader.
Okay.
She was once a 10 women organizer.
Okay.
She became regional women organizer, Brahafo. Deputy National Women Organizer, and then National Women Organizer. I think I've been with the women since time immemorial.
Right.
And the women know the type of woman Hajia Zainab is. They listen to me. They are with me. I mean, I have lived with them with passion, love, humility, submissiveness. Hajia Zainab is a woman that always wants people around her. I love the people that I lead. So knocking at their doors, they open the doors comfortably, and they always usher me in.
Some say you have a very a good record,
yeah,
but times have changed.
Yeah.
So there are new entrants who have come into
yeah,
the game.
Yeah.
You have heard that one.
I know.
What have you to say to them?
What I have is what I've done for my women. That's why I've reached where I am today. I'm adding more. I'm organizing for skills development centers throughout the country, bringing up the younger ones who are not, maybe I would say, they are not fortunate to be at where I am now. Establishing places for them to learn trades, bringing them up, helping them at least to make a living. Secondly, I brought these women, Ewukom. These are young girls who were under the youth for that long time. I realized that 2014, I went for a workshop in Kumasi, Ashanti region, and I think I came out that if they are women, they should be under the women. We should nurture these people and we should mentor them. We should bring them to the limelight. At least when they are in school, they should be with us. When they go out, they should be ambassadors for the party. They can actually represent us. Even as I'm sitting here, they can be here. They can represent the party, radio stations, television stations. They can go back there and give what we have given them to their colleagues that are in school.
If we elect you, or if the NDC elects you as its national women's organizer, what are you bringing to the table apart from your experience? What new thing are you bringing?
The new things I'm bringing is, my brother, you agree with me that a lot of women don't want politics because of the name, the tag that people put on us. I need to put a lot of capacity building, send them for programs, help them to come out, communication skills. I need these women at least to get microfinance. That is in NDC.
Your own microfinance
yes,
in the NDC?
NDC okay. Women.
Okay.
We realize that we take mass-log loans. A lot of women run away and leave their children. Some will collect the money because of pressure they can't pay. They run away and leave their families. This time round, we are starting it from the branches.
Okay.
We need our branch to be solid. You agree with me that elections are being won at the branches. We need to help these women at the branch level. Support them at the branch level.
Okay.
Give them at least something to do. Don't give them fish. Help them to fish.
Okay.
And that one will carry them a long way. At the same time, the constituency women organizers are going to take charge of the microfinance.
Okay.
They are the people who are going to support it. They will make sure that women, it's not big. Something small for the people to go on. I remember some time ago, I went to Upper East. Okay. A woman was weaving a basket. And I had the opportunity to talk to that woman.
Okay.
Mommy, how much will you need to continue this your work? She said 50 Ghana.
Okay.
I said, Mama, 50 Ghana. She said, yes. When she has plenty of money, the husband will sack her.
Okay.
So she needs something small
to just start
to
up.
live.
Okay.
So these are the people that we are going out there to support. They should at least have something doing to support their children.
Right.
Besides that, I talk about Kaya years.
Okay.
My dear brother, if you go to Makola or you enter into Ashanti region, if you look at where our young ladies are sleeping, if you look at the conditions that they live in, we need to have a resting place for these people. It is in me that I think we have to start doing something. Men enter into...
A resting place like what? You want to build a hostel for them?
Yes. Professor Marks wanted to do it. Samuel started it. He even engaged some of them by giving them machines and then hair dryers to start something. At least if we will not get it big, people are supporting us. Right now, as I'm talking about this skills development, in Karachi West, a man has donated a whole house for us to start it. And at any moment from now, we are going to inaugurate it with some machines and then dryers.
There's a new wave of gender conversation, pepper them, sugar them. I'm sure you've heard about them. What are your thoughts about that? Pepper them, sugar them, women speaking actively.
Women are supposed to speak actively because women are the... if you talk about this country today, we are many.
Okay.
And we need to go out there to support ourselves. If I leave Mr. Hughes alone, he'll talk about himself. But if you bring women along, women are the country. Women are people who know what their children need and their husbands need.
Okay.
So women are supposed to come out there to support themselves. We need to come out strongly, together, united, and fight for our own.
You're on record to have said that you want to groom women to protect ballot boxes.
Yes,
is that correct?
It's correct.
Is that another wave of vigilantism?
Nope.
Female version of the
women are not violent.
Okay.
You agree with me? Women
I
are
don't,
not.
You tell me.
Women are not violent. Women always want things to be done accurately. Women want to see the right thing done. So if you bring a woman, you bring a man, that woman would respect herself by sitting down and looking on for something to be done.
So how do you want to train these girls, these women to protect ballot boxes?
Yeah. Through the party. There are support people who are out there to support us. We have a lot of people, those who are on pension, policemen who are on pension, army that are on pension, they can help us.
So they will stand by the box, or what would they do?
They are polling agents.
Okay.
They will be there with the men. At least it's two. A man and a woman.
Okay.
A man and a woman to look at what is happening. Straightforward to the ballot box. And that is what I just...
Why do you want to protect the ballot box? Was it because of something that happened before?
No, not that something that happened. At least this is the time that we want to put this right.
Something went wrong?
So many. Those days people could hijack ballot boxes. When they are counting, somebody can pick the ballot box away. Today, if a woman is there, she's not having a gun, but that woman, the way she will be looking at you will not there.
If 6 macho men come and pick the ballot box, how can one nice-looking, very calm, affable woman stop them from
Women
picking?
go out for peacekeeping.
Okay.
Women are out there for peacekeeping. If you tell me the truth, women are there. Don't undermine us. Don't undermine women.
What do you think about vigilantism? Your party, there are some elements within your party that have said that, look, we will protect ourselves because the security agencies have disappointed us. They have failed.
No.
What do you think about vigilantism?
I think supporting your party should not go maybe disrupting, beating, and doing other things.
Okay.
There should be some sort of protection. You may not allow me to undermine you. I will not allow you to undermine me. We need to do things that are right. We need to do things that will help your party, not necessarily going outside there to misbehave, to cut people, to kill people. I don't
Do
think
you
that's what
support
I'm
vigilantism?
I don't support it.
You don't support
Yes.
it. Girls for Mahama, what? There were a lot of those splinter groups ahead of 2016 elections. If you become women organizer, are you going to encourage that girls for Mahama, women for Mahama?
No, they will come under the branches.
Was it a wrong move then in 2016?
I will not say it's wrong. You know, that time a lot of them went out there, that type of youthful exuberance.
Okay.
Feeling that I must be part and I must do this. This time around, the party is out there to stop those things. They should come under the branches. If you are a woman, if you are a girl, come under the women's wing. Go under the youth wing. Go under the organizer. I think a lot of people even came out this time. It helped us. A lot of them came and contested elections.
There are those who are not card-bearing members of the NDC. They are women. They are popular. They just want to throw their support behind a candidate, say JM or say Joshua Labi or whoever it is that they want to support. And they too, they would have to come under the women wing?
No, those who were, there are women who are supporting these people you mentioned.
Okay.
Yes, they can take up cards.
Okay.
If I want to be an NDC, I need to be an NDC. For people to know that I am an NDC. Okay. As I sit here, anybody who sees my tag in here knows that I'm an NDC.
Right.
Join NDC, take a card, and join the women's wing, join the youth wing.
Of the candidates that have put themselves up for the presidential slot, where do you belong?
Everybody is capable.
Where do you belong?
Everybody is capable.
You don't have a candidate yet?
Everybody is capable.
You don't have a candidate
they
yet?
They are capable.
You don't want to mention?
Everybody is capable.
Some say your name rhymes with President Mohammed's name, and so that's where you stand.
He's former president. He actually performed creditably.
Okay.
Ghanaians want him. So if he comes out there...
Do you want him?
I want him.
You want President Mahama to come?
I want him.
Not Joshua Labi?
I want him.
Not Spio Gabra?
Oh, they are all capable.
Not Sylvester Mensah?
They are capable. They are all capable. I see everybody as a potential ally.
But you want John Mahama?
Yes.
Okay, great. Aja, your closing thoughts. That's your camera. I'll give you 30 seconds. That's your camera right there. Look into it. Speak to the women. They are watching you.
Good morning, Ghana. Good morning to the good people that I'm leading. I think Hajia Zainab has been a leader of substance, humility, transparency, love, a woman that always wants people around her. I've been with you several years now. You know whom Hajia Zainab is and what Hajia Zainab can do. I know that a human being cannot be 10. We are all 9. I've done so much that I think Ghanaians need to help me, bring me back on board. I spent 2 years in office. I was voted for 2014, 2015, 2016. I think my party went in opposition. This is the time that Hajia Zainab will come out with what is in her. And I know you all agree with me. I've been telling everybody, anytime I meet women, I tell them, Ghana, vote for Hajia Zainab Mahama for transparency, for humility, for love.
Right, Aja, I thank you very much.
After
the election, we'll have a conversation. Aja Zainab Joyce Mahama, she wants to be National Women Organizer of the NDC. And, well, she has contenders as well, but she's hopeful she will win. After the break, sports is up next here on TV3 Newday. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So the Ghana Export Promotion Authority was established in 1969 under the Constitution, and certainly Ghana has been talking about exports and the fact that this government has also been talking about raking in revenue. So we need to talk about how these exports can be done in a very sanitized and very good way to make sure our monies come to us. Joining me in studio to discuss this is Mr. Albert Kasim Diwura. He is the Deputy Chief Executive of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, and also Mrs. Agnes A.J. Sam. She's the Director for Marketing and Promotions at GEPA. Good morning, gentlemen and lady.
Good morning.
So let's start off with what GEPA in itself is and what it seeks to, achieve in its establishment.
Thank you very much. Bringing greetings from Ghana Export Promotion Authority, especially the CEO, Madam Efua Asabia Asare, and all staff of the Export Promotion Authority. GEPA, like you said, formerly known as Ghana Export Promotion Council, became an authority in 1969. And like you rightly mentioned, export, like we all know, is about taking goods and services from the native country to the foreign country to as it were, get the necessary or the needed foreign exchange to come and cushion our cedi. And so our prime objectives is the mandated government TPO, Trade Promotion Organization, to ensure that our products, both services, are actually followed the due process to be sent outside the country for sale. So basically, we are interested in taking goods and services outside the country.
Very well. But I'm sure the ordinary person out there is also wondering, how well have you been able to achieve these objectives that GEPA was put in there for over the years?
The achievements are there for everybody to see. It's on record. Okay. And then like we have what we call the Exporters Forum that is coming up soon. We are also going to look at the what is it called, the awards, those who have done well. And so the records are there to show. We also have the 2017 reports, how we've done over the period. And so if you look at how far we have come, we have a data section that has the records to show. And so year on, I mean, export promotion have done so well. And it's unfortunate we've not been in the limelight. We don't tell our own story. And most often than not, you leave it for the exporters because it's like they are the direct beneficiary of the proceeds. And so this time around, we want to tell our own story, let the people know what exactly we've done so far, and the success story will be for Ghana as a whole. Very well. So in doing this, you're organizing a forum. That's the 78th National Exporters Forum. We want to find out what is going to go into that program. What should we expect when we come?
Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here this morning. The National Exporters Forum is one of the key activities of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, and it was instituted as far back as 1987. And the objective is to create a platform for all those who are involved in export development and promotion to meet together and discuss pertinent issues of the day. And so by so doing, it becomes a good place where we know how we are performing, what we need to do, what exporters expect of us, and then to help us to draw programs to meet their competitiveness.
So when is it happening, and who's expected to be there? Who's coming?
Right. The next one is coming on just tomorrow. That is 17th of October 2018 at the Ghana Shippers House. And we are expecting the Honorable Minister for Trade and Industry to be there because it is his program. We are under the Ministry of Trade and Industry. He's coming. We've also invited the Minister for Information. We hope he'll find time to come. And of course, our key and primary clients, the exporters, it is their day. Like when we are in school and then we are going to vacate, today is our day. So it's actually the day for the exporters. It's an opportunity for them to tell it as it is, so to speak, to tell the facilitating institutions what they need, what has been bothering them, and what they expect us to do for them. So they will tell us, and we would also use it as an opportunity to let them know about what we are also doing for them. So it's a big day. All the exporters are expected to come. And we also have other facilitating institutions. If you look at our mandates, we are to develop and promote. And so in the chain, we have so many institutions, Ministry of Agri, the Port Services, we have Ghana Standards Authority, Food and Drugs Board. They are all part of the chain of helping the exporters. So we are expecting all these people to be present. And then there are also some development partners because the programs they are doing with and for us are for the exporters. So they're also expected to be there so that together we can deliberate on how well GEP is doing and the programs we have for the exporters to ensure that they are the programs they need to make them very competitive on the export markets.
Very well. When we talk about business in general, we tend to look more at well, now we're trying to promote the underprivileged people, talking about women and the youth. How well is GEPA positioned to help champion the cause of the youth and women when it comes to export?
Okay, maybe. Thank you very much. And we see how important the youth and women are in every development activity. And we have also not left this segment out. I'd like to focus more on the women since I'm a woman also. Okay, as far back as the early 2000s, Ghana Export Promotion Authority has been working with a lot of institutions, particularly the International Trade Center. Yes, it's under the UN. Yes, we have been working with them to identify programs to support women. And so the first one we did was called Access for Women in International Trade. And this was a special program to look at the special needs of women in business. Yes, so under this program, we trained the women, we gave them business counseling services, where we also found market for them, and we also helped to make them very visible on the export market. And then after the project ended, we didn't sit back and say that, well, ITC funding has ended, so we're going to leave out the women like that. No, we mainstreamed this women into our regular export programs. And I'm happy to know that many of them are exporting, many of them have been receiving awards, both internationally and locally. And also to support women, and what we did under one of the flagship programs that Albert mentioned early on is a National Awards for Export Achievements. And so we have introduced a special segment for women. That's the Woman Exporter of the Year, which wasn't there before. And this is one activity that is also spurring women on to also excel and do much better than we're doing. Now, when it comes to the youth, it is still very much in it, what should I say, we are still working on it, but I'm happy to say that many of the new people we are bringing up are also very young entrepreneurs, under 40 years, both men and women. And then we are coming out with new programs, yes, to actually ensure that they also become competitive on the export market.
Mr. Kasim, you join in, but also when you talk, I want to find out what the extent of the forum, the impact it's had on the exporters has been, because this certainly is your 78th, and so there must have been some results you've seen and what you plan to make it better.
Let me also just add on the youth in export. Like we've also made it as a mandate. Like every year we have students chaining out. This year's national service personnel who are currently with us, when we're giving them what we call institutional orientation, we told them that, I mean, you go out there, unemployment, everybody is crying. But in the private sector, for instance, GIPA is private-public, establishment, engagement. And so for us, the private sector, they are our stakeholders. It is for them we exist. And so we encourage the youth that after school, you have to identify the opportunities around your area. At the moment, we are talking about one district, one exportable product. And every person would have been coming from one district or the other. And so you identify the potentials at your area, and then you try to partner with people who are already in the industry. When you are going to learn, you need to find out from those who are already there and the success stories they have. And so we've encouraged the youth that they should find their own way of becoming entrepreneurs, and not only locally but also internationally. And so not only the women, like my director of marketing said, we are more passionate about the graduate unemployment, and we are encouraging them. It's not always about a white collar job. You can make it big if you can also identify, and especially the government is talking about one district, one factory, one agric product, and that of exportable in nature. So you identify, and then you are in business. So back to your question about the exporters. For us, it is for them that we exist. And so their success story, it is for us to be also to tell our own story. And so we are very passionate about the challenges that they face. The Trade Ministry is also churning out, they are the policy makers. And so ours is just to implement the policies. And so we monitor them closely. Our doors are opened. And it will surprise you to know that, yes, normally we begin with them. But as they grow, we even tend to learn from them. They go into the practicalities of it. They, in the world out in the export world, they do all the necessary mistakes. And so we come back to them. And so you'll be surprised that we have what we call the export school. And some of them are even facilitators. Some of them, we call them to come and give a lecture and all that. So they exporters are very dear to us.
Very well. Finally, just remind us of when the program is taking place and at what time we should be there.
Thank you. Perhaps let me also take the opportunity to just add one or two more benefits to it. I know. In fact, it is through the deliberations at the Exporters Forum that certain key programs like even the Exim Bank as we have now has come about. Yes. At first, there was no dedicated funding for exporters. And was through this forum that exporters cried for a dedicated funding to be brought. And so first of all, we had the EDIF, that's the Export Development and Agric Investment Fund. And then after that, they said, no, we wanted a bank to help us to finance our businesses. And so it was changed to the Exim Bank. And so this is one of the key achievements of the Exporters Forum. This year, program comes off tomorrow. That's Wednesday, 17th October 2018 at the Ghana Shippers House, which is at Ridge. And I think it's in the vicinity of the UBA Bank and then the British Council.
Okay. So tomorrow we will be congregating at the Ghana Shippers House to learn more about exports in Ghana and what we can do to make it better. And certainly, like they said, there's a job out there for the unemployed youth. So don't sit aloof and say you're waiting on government. Go there and find yourself a job. I've been speaking to Mr. Albert Kasim Dewura. He is the Deputy Chief Executive for GIPA, and also Mrs. Agnes Ejay-Sam. She is the Director for Marketing and Promotions at the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. Let me say happy birthday to Mr. Alfred Obing, aka Soldier of AMA. This is coming from Johnny Hughes here at TV3. We'll take a break. We'll be back more with something here on New Day. Stay with us. Welcome back. So today we are going to have Chamber, our session here where we talk about law and how it can protect its citizens here in Ghana. We've got a story of Irene who traveled to Kuwait and had an unfortunate incident. But she's joining us in studio. I have Irene Arthur Mensah. She is the victim and she'll be telling us her story, and also a human rights lawyer in the person of Mary Ohinewa Afo. Good morning, ladies. So, Irene, you've decided to speak your local language. So you speak and then I'll translate. But tell us briefly what happened to you.
To make sure me office madam said damn na me madam ni treat me to me but me ba office no me kwa another house to make sure no say member but I say my main country madam no because are very serious or dangerous to make sure no society a main country madam so farming office till one morning na me catch madam say how are you mean to me to person me call office no say on farming call no tia me we mama buy in on farming call nti the opibiano or the bay me tina me so na me catch and say the opibiano me so mean to me yes say juman because my bread mean to me that mean the so to person me call another house no say on farming call nti or small me anopa bay around that was July 5th anopa no small me say me nkoyi ade ba window be ewo outside on so I want no small me say me nkoyi ade ti me fru we no me hu yan ni say me hospital.
In hospital, how long were you there?
3 months.
Okay. So Irene is telling us that she traveled to Kuwait and she was working with a particular woman and she wasn't able to eat or sleep in the house. And so she reported to another woman who was in an office where she knew the people who had liaised for her to come to Kuwait. She told the woman that she wanted to leave the house in which she was serving because she was not happy there. She wanted to relocate to another house, but the woman declined. So she told her to tell her boss, as it was, that she wanted to come to the office. Her boss, however, said she was not going to be the one to send her there. And she asked her to go and get something from a particular part of the house that had a window, but all she remembers after that incident was waking up in the hospital. And to follow up, Irene relocated to Ghana. I mean, after various things were done, immigration processes gone through, she came back to Ghana and visited the hospital for a medical condition. But while she was there, she was requested to take some x-rays, and when the x-rays were taken, we realized she had some fixators, medical implants that had been put in her, but she wasn't aware of any surgical procedure. She, however, had the scar. And so that was when we got in touch with Irene and decided to follow up on the story. Thank you very much. But Mary, let me come to you. Concerning our human rights, basic human rights, what has been violated in Irene's case and what are the processes she could have gone through to make sure this didn't happen?
Yeah, thank you very much. We are looking at her human rights in Ghana here and then the international laws on human rights. First of all, the state has to protect people like her and those who are about to fall in such situations. But then the state cannot do all these things without ensuring that the corporates or the bad people who are even recruiting them to Kuwait are being dealt with. What are the recruitment processes? The visa application, how many visas are issued a day? What do they tell them to convince them to travel? Are they giving the right, the kind of advertisement that are put out there? Are they, when they travel, do they do exactly what they've been convinced to travel and do? Right. So we need to tackle that aspect. Then with the Foreign Affairs Ministry, what are the role in these things, or the various high commissioners in the other countries, the Ghana high commissioners? What do they do when people fall in such situations? Where do they go to for help or for assistance or for their own protection? Then we have the international laws, the human rights. Human rights are basic, they are universal, it borders on everyone. So if you are in Ghana, you travel abroad, and you go into, you know, all these human rights violations and all that, and torture, what are the laid down procedures or the laws or the protection? Who must help such people? Right. That is why we have the system, we have the high commissioners and all that. So if this Irene in her situation, she's in Ghana here, she can't afford a lawyer, and any lawyer who would want to help Irene probably it would be easier if the problem had happened in Ghana. How many lawyers are willing to do pro bono? Are they going to Kuwait and sue the people there who caused her that, who removed her body parts? We have to look at situations where it has to do with ordinary people. Who is to fight for her right? So I think that the Foreign Affairs Ministry, they have been handling bits and pieces of such issues. The security systems, the immigration, all of them have roles. Irene has already gone through the situation, but what about those who are yet? Yes, the visa contractors, how can we stop them? Or who is supervising or checking these illegal whatever visa and job recruitment abroad and all that? So for now, she may have all the legal rights, but how can she enforce her rights? Can she, who is to follow, which lawyer is to follow her to Kuwait? Or are they going to the International Criminal Court? How can she get up, except the state decides to intervene? Except the government of Ghana decides that he is going to take care of people in Irene's situation. When they are deported and they come with all the human rights issues, unless we have a system here in Ghana where they must they walk to Ministry of Foreign Affairs to get help, or must they, if she's a female or, you know, gender, whatever, must she go to the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection? Where can she go? Or she just goes to the central police station to tell her story? Or even if she walks into a law firm, how can the lawyers assist her, looking at the cost involved? Or can there be any compensation that the state can give to people who are affected without their fault, or people who are ignorant of even their basic human rights? So I believe that this thing can go on, but then at the end of the day, if there's no help coming anywhere, the state should be able to, or the state should be liable. The state should be responsible for Irene's situation. And maybe we should hold the Minister for Foreign Affairs responsible. Yes, because I believe there were issues like that when the ministry or the minister had to go in and give them some money. Whether, I don't know whether it was the Libya issue. And even in South Africa, all these issues come up. The Minister for Foreign Affairs should be the right person that Irene should walk through and look for her to help her, because you can't fight the cost involved. Are you going to fight, and is there an international dispute? Can she afford? How many lawyers can do that? The state should be held liable.
Very well, but also there's that issue of the individuals willingly go, you know, to these foreign countries, obviously in search of better, greener pastures. But when they go, like you rightly said, maybe in the advertisement they ask that she be a house help, but obviously she goes there, maybe they want to change the job description.
I wish you can
How
find
do we,
out
yeah,
from
Irene,
here.
what exactly were you told? Oh, kono den e ka say wo koye wo.
Omo ka say omo nka nchem say me koye fie djuma, omo say ye office. Nti nimpa na omo makoye ni djuma, no be sen liska no ama da we no. Nimpa na odi me beko no. Nti da ma no.
Jono na tua ma wonya o paper bibia.
But enyam ono me brother penny no Spanish that can e wo me ho. That can odi ma guy ni die. But me brother na e boka ba plane ticket ni die. Woman ni tua but one can't say me koye house help.
So Mary, that's why I want to find out, when the job description changes, what happens?
It means that these people, we just have to categorize them as vulnerable people, vulnerable and gullible. In fact, she is so powerless, she can't do anything, except the state decides to stop it at the roots, you know, roots level. The recruitment, whatever, the visa people, and it's sad that poor people can't get help when they need help. In fact, her story is so touchy, but how can I help her? I may also equally be so powerful too, or, you know, financially, you know, I don't know, I won't be able to help her, even with the legal, whatever, services. But then the only way I can come in is, how can we ensure that our security system go into those recruitment, whatever, visa, but it's even hard to find them, because some of them are even online, whatever. So we should be able to educate the public that do not follow these people. They are not greener pastures anyway. And I don't like it when I have to talk about government. The government should be able to provide jobs, even in the rural community, so that she won't be able. Lots of girls won't travel. She's even, I must say, she's even lucky. Some go in for prostitution, but then they are promised that the nursing, this and that. And some visa contractors don't even take money from the people. They just, and they take them there, and some do not come back. Their lungs, liver, whatever, kidney, all those things are removed. But the state should be careful. The state should, we need more protection. It's not just about, you know, just being there and motorcade following them, and we see them in their V8. We need to see the protection. It should come down to the basic level, the poor people. And, you know, I like it, yeah, free education, but how many people are educated enough that this thing is a scam? Do not follow these visa people. And it's all, if I know Accra now, you are in Accra, Accra. Accra, so which area?
How far is me back?
The MPs should also help us. The MPs, I don't know, but let's find a way let's find a way to see how best we can help her, because she has to be strong. If a medical person would have assessed her, probably they would say that maybe 70%, whatever, life, what they have those words. She is not 100% or 90% fit. She's lost a lot of strength or accessibility. So the state should be able to. We should help her. Are you working or something?
No, I can't.
She's currently not working. That's why TV3 took up this case, and we certainly will follow up on that. But I'd like to say a very big thank you to Mary Ohinewa Aful. She is a human rights lawyer, and also Irene Arthur Mensah, whose story has been told today. But certainly we'll give you more on her story. So anyone who's touched by this story should contact TV3 and be of help. We'd like to say a very big thank you to all of you, our sponsors, Nido, RMG, and Vodafone, for sponsoring our show. And that's how the cookie crumbles on the show. We'll see you same time tomorrow, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Your favorite morning show will be here, myself, Johnny, and we'll bring you all the news from the world and here. Well, that's all for today. Have a blessed day.